miles from nowhere. Chat. There we go. Kind of weird time for a live show. There, this. Yeah, it's kind of sketchy. Hiking, burning some fat. Got my camera. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, y'all. Got more people tuning in to the nature hike. That's right, I'm in nature. See the trees? Look at that. Whoa. Trees, man. It is fall in Appalachia. That is right. What's everybody up to? Let's see. We'll go down here to a stream. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this gives a whole new definition. This redefines live streaming. There's a stream over here. Check this out. There's a stream down there, man. Look at that. Yep. We are in nature, man. Burning some calories. Chatting with the YouTube community. Hey, here's the sun up here. Look at that. Here's the sun. There's leaves falling. Everywhere. Tell you, this iPhone 12 Pro is pretty good with the live stream and stuff. I've been impressed. Super impressed. There'll be snow out here before we know it, man. Especially once we get up to elevation, there'll be some snow, I bet. So what's everybody up to today? This is a live show, so anything you type you can see in real time, man. So switching back over, there we go. Face on video here in Appalachia. The Appalachian Mountains have been here for a long time. Always got to be bear aware, man. You know, there's an abundance of black bears and cougars. There's often cougars out here. And let's see what else. You got cougars, you got black bears, you got something you don't think about are the wild hogs, the wild boars. Because wild boar are they're big animals, and they may not look as big as they actually are, but what they'll do, they'll charge you, and they've got razor sharp tusks. So if you've ever been attacked by a wild boar, well, hopefully you made it through, because they're not anything to mess with. If a wild boar comes after you, the best thing to do is just go into the, find you a tree, such as, say, this tree right here, something that's easy to climb, and climb up it. Now, that's what you do for a wild boar. Now, for a bear, a black bear is a completely different animal. You know, black bears are pretty, they're pretty laid back. But if they've been eating trash, the people improperly disposed of, black bears can become dangerous. And then they can look at a human as a meal. So, if you encounter a black bear, make yourself look as big as possible. Keep your backpack on, because if the bear actually attacks you, then, your backpack may protect you. Again, nothing's guaranteed, but your backpack may protect you from the bear attack. So, always good to keep your backpack on if you're getting attacked by a black bear. But ultimately, have your bear spray. Never go into backcountry without bear spray. Whatever you do, don't put your bear spray in your pack because then you can't access it. You know, a bear's going to charge you. Like over here, for example, this mountain, a bear could come down that and rush me. Bears can run about 35 miles per hour. So, you know, if a bear was charging me from right there, then if I had my bear spray inside of my pack, I couldn't get to it in time. So it's always good to I keep my bear spray on my belt. So always good to do that. You can just reach down and grab it. Any sort of noise maker, you know, if you've got a whistle, if you've got an air horn, you know, anything you've got that can make noise, that may cause the bear to go the other way. You know, black bears especially aren't particularly aggressive, but if they're charging you, they may be doing what's called a bluff charge, which is just kind of play with you. But they could also be coming to eat you. So if the bear's coming at you, have that bear spray, you know, have the little safety off of it, have it ready to spray. And spray in an S pattern, they say, with the bear spray. So, you know, hopefully you don't encounter that, but if you do, you know, be prepared. You know, have that bear spray quickly accessible and, you know, hope for the best. But yeah, black bears are actually some of the less. I'm more afraid of. Honestly, I'm more afraid of snakes than I am black bears, because snakes can, you know, they can bite you, and if a rattlesnake bites you, which is a pit viper, and you're 15 miles out, you probably just die. So, you know, unless you can get an air evac, and that's you know, the probability of having cell service is somewhat limited. I've got cell service right now, but it's a rarity. I never expect to have cell service in the Appalachian Mountains. So, yeah. Ooh, I got a good workout, man. I've burned about close to 1,000 calories getting out here, getting some exercise and filming some videos and talking about bear safety, you know, how to be safe in bear country. Always important to know. And yeah, I got this beef jerky, man. I reviewed some beef jerky earlier, and y'all are gonna have to check that video out. It is very tasty, and actually the flavor that I reviewed, it was 0 sugar. Jake, or Maya McKenna and Katie there. Maya McKenna and Katie. Jake is a long-term subscriber, and he is watching from the station. Very cool. Good to have you, sir. Always good. Always an honor. And if you don't know Jake, Jake is who turned me on to the Cherry Peppers foghorn video. And if you haven't watched the Cherry Peppers foghorn video, man, you're missing out. So, yeah, always good to have Jake. I am kind of I'm not on a ridge line, but I'm a little elevated, so hopefully this cellular service keeps up. What a gunshot. That was close. Yeah. Whoa. Always good to kind of take cover if you don't know where it's heading. I've got brightly colored clothing on, but you know, I mean, if somebody's inexperienced when they're shooting in a random direction, it can be dangerous. But ooh, yeah. So Jake, have you ever encountered Jake says, I was checking out some videos from London, United Kingdom. Very cool. Yeah, actually I was, yesterday's live stream, we had a couple people, one person from the UK, and then also from France. That was on yesterday evening's live stream, so that was pretty cool. But, yeah, the cellular service should pick up a little bit because I'm about to go up in elevation just a little bit. The F turnouts sound quite different from our turnout system. Cool. I bet they do. Everything in the across the pond sounds different. Definitely does. Look at that. There's the sun, man. Woohoo! I'll flip back over here, face on video. Filming with the iPhone 12 Pro. I tell you, I've enjoyed the iPhone 12 Pro, and I've heard strong rumors suggesting that the iPhone 15 may have USB-C. Hey, Irish guy, where are you at? I'm in the Appalachian Mountains. Mike, good to see you, sir. Yeah, we're talking about bear safety and how to be bear aware, and don't put your bear spray in your pack. Put your bear spray on your. I usually don't put it on my backpack straps anymore because it tends to flop around. You're in your backyard, very cool. Yeah, it's always good to be in the backyard with the grill going, man. But yeah, keep your bear spray quickly accessible on your belt or on, if you do want to put it on your straps, be sure it's on the front, and then that way you can just grab it. Oh, I'm in your backyard. Aha! Very cool. Appalachian Mountains. Can't beat that. Good place to be. Yeah, we did, done about 100 miles on the, well, I don't want to say the Appalachian Trail because that's so generic, but we did a lot of the trails that intersect with the AT. Did a few overnights. Murray Ridge, M-I-R-Y. That was a cool hike. We ascended a few it was over 3,000 feet elevation gain, and we were sleeping at about around 4,000 or 5,000 feet? Man? No, it was almost 5,000 feet, I think, and it was up in the fog, in the Smokies. So that was pretty cool, man. Getting up there and going to sleep in fog, waking up in the fog. Every 1,000 feet, temperature typically drops about 6 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was in the 20s, in the low 20s, man. But that was, now today it's not bad. I mean, I do layers when I hike. Earlier I had on, a fleece, and now I've just got this polyester shirt. So what's everyone up to today? Obviously, I'm hiking. Jake says, I was watching videos of the Royal Berkshire Fire Rescue. Their turnout tones, sorry, trying to read, sounds similar to LFB's. Surrey Fire Rescue Service sounds the same too. So does Maraway Fire Brigade. Cool. Good to know. Very good to know. I got my Sony Alpha right here with my Rode. Certainly do. Gotta keep the photos coming, man. I gotta get back from the trailhead and blow up the Instagram and the YouTube. Filmed a video review earlier. Stay tuned for that. It's some beef jerky that has no sugar added. So it's surprising that they used a bunch of herbs, and it made it, some of the herbs almost had a sweet type taste. So you still got the impression that it might have sugar in it, but it doesn't. And that's so important. Because, when I'm out here burning 1,000 calories or so, if I can eat stuff that I don't have to fire up my backpacker stove, if I can just pull it out of the bag and eat it, and it doesn't have sugar, that's great. Because, you can do a good workout, and if you're eating sugar, it's still going to, it's going to negate the positive aspects of your workout. So, just something to be aware of. Yeah. Let's see. So that's great weather. It really is. super nice weather. Out there, those trees. Yeah, I'm working on an appetite. I think I'm gonna cook some hot dogs, man. Nothing wrong with good hot dog. Melt some cheese on it. Toast the buns. Make the hot dogs fancy. Isn't that right? Check out my video, how to cook a fancy hot dog. It could potentially change your life. Oh yeah. I need some sort of stick that'll just like mount to my thing so I can live stream when I hike with their cell service and not have to hold the phone. It'd be kind of cool. Look at those leaves. Trees are everywhere, man. Because I'm in the forest. That is right. Let's see, what do we have over here? Let's see, we got a stream. Yes, we do. There's a stream down there. Continue this journey here. Get this cardio, man. Burn some fat. Up this hill, this gentle incline here. Look at this. Rough, rocky terrain, good for your balance. Dexterity. That's right. Actually, dexterity, I think, only deals with your hands, doesn't it? If you're very dexterous. This would just, I guess this will help with sure footing. Let's see, look at this, it's gravel. You don't have good hiking boots. I like hiking shoes because boots have blisters on my feet. Ugh. Isn't that right? Good little incline here, getting my steps in. My goal is to get by the early part of 2022, have a six-pack of abs again. That'd be good. It's easy to do if you just eat right and work out. So, making a little switchback turn here in the mountains. Ooh yeah. Got some good videos coming. See, I've done my filming, now I'm just doing the exercise part. Which will get you. Oh yeah. Still ascending. Quite a decent grade. Not much, but acceptable. Here we go. Ooh, now I gotta go like this. Look at this. Gentle grade, but still an incline. Oh yeah. Always grip your camera, because if you fall, well, you want to be able to ditch it, but I mean, you don't want to ditch it. You want to hold on to it. So see, I got my strap and I've got it kind of cradled. You lose your camera, man, you lose your tools. You don't want to lose your tools. Now we're starting the ascent. Decent ascent. I mean, nothing too intense. I'm in shape. Even though I got a gut, that's because I eat a bunch of junk. Well, that's just how it is, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. Now you gotta be sure-footed on this. See these loose rocks? That's the thing in Appalachia, you'll run into rocks and stuff, and especially if it's wet or icy. If it was icy out here, I'd have micro spikes. Ooh-wee. You can see the ridge line. Ooh-wee. Feeling good. There's a cave down there. I found Bigfoot there one time. You see the ridge line. Y'all believe in Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the Yeti? I don't know. I've had some pretty convincing encounters, to say the least. Waterproof shoes are a must. One thing about waterproof shoes, though, is that if you have waterproof shoes and you neglect to take them off when you cross a stream, the water will stay inside because they're waterproof. It holds the water in as well. So, you know, for that reason, and stay tuned for my video, I've got these, they're almost like a sock with a proper rubber grippy sole. So you can put those on. They're minimal amount of size and weight in your backpack. Of course, you know, you wouldn't hike a long distance while wearing them, but to cross a stream, you can put them on to get your traction. And then you just put them on the outside of your pack to drip dry while you hike. And you keep your hiking shoes dry. But yeah, that's, a lot of people think they're being hardcore when they go barefoot and try to cross a stream. And what they don't realize is that your feet don't have a lot of traction. And even a mildly slick rock that's in a stream is next to impossible to get footing on unless you have a grippy rubber sole. And if it was a slick rubber sole, it's probably not going to grip either. So, you know, I'll show you a video of what I do, but I use my hiking poles too to kind of poke around and see what it feels like under the stream. Make sure I'm not going into a hole. You know, if you're in the backcountry and your foot gets stuck in a stream, it may not seem like that big of a deal then, but if you're stuck and nobody's around, then what if it starts to rain, the water rises? You know, at that point, it becomes a life or death situation because you've got, number one, water levels in the backcountry can rise rapidly. I'm talking a few feet in a few minutes, and that's not unrealistic. So So the threat of drowning is there because your foot is stuck, between rocks or whatever. The threat of hypothermia is there because even if it doesn't rise to be deep enough to drown you, you could still freeze to death. And then, even if you're able to get out, because the water rose and you had your pack on your back, now all your gear is wet. So you don't have anything to put on that's dry. Now, if you're smart, you do what I do and you pack all of your clothing and stuff in dry bags, ultralight dry bags, in your backpack. That way you've got an extra layer of water resistance, and they could potentially be dry. Because if you ever encounter a wet situation in the backcountry, a few things you need dry clothes, and you need the ability to start a fire to warm up quickly and dry your stuff out. So always take a magnesium fire starter. Magnesium fire starter, all you need is a knife, and you just shave off some of the stuff, and then you use the other side, which is the striking side, and you can create a spark. And hopefully you'll have enough semi-dry pieces of wood to get a fire going. Now, if it's really wet out, what you want to do is try to find fire starter stuff that's under maybe there's a rock overhang, or maybe there's a tree that's covering some wood up. Anything you can find that hasn't been exposed to water. It's the best you can find. If you're out and there's nothing that's covered, look for sticks and stuff that were trapped when they were falling from other trees. So deadfall that was stuck in live trees. If you can pull that down, because it's been elevated, it's not going to be as wet as the deadfall in the ground, because it hasn't been able to soak. It's had the rain hit it. It was coming to the ground, but it didn't just sit and soak in water on the ground. And with that, what you can often do, if it's wet on the outside, you can whittle it down with a stick. And once you get past the bark, it's usually pretty dry in there. And then you can take that and just with your knife make some nice, fine wood shavings and create a pile of wood shavings. And that, in conjunction with your magnesium fire starter, you should be able to spark. You should be able to create a small flame, and hopefully what you whittle down is dry enough to where you can create a starter fire, and then just start TPing your larger small sticks on top of that, and then get the bigger stuff after you've got your base. Mistake a lot of people make: they start a fire in an emergency situation, and they don't let the small fire go long enough before they start adding the big stuff. So they don't have enough hot ash to ignite the big stuff. And in this situation, it would be hot ash to dry out the bigger stuff and then ignite it. Because stuff that's damp or wet is not going to ignite immediately unless you've just got a blazing hot fire with a ton of ash. So, make your primary focus establishing a sizable bed of hot ash, making sure that you continue to feed it the really small stuff, and then just get enough in there so that if your fire did die down, you could quickly flare it back up by just throwing small twigs on it, because it's got so much hot ash. Also, always use a bellows. Check out my bellows video. I've got a link to the one like I use. Super cheap, super lightweight, collapsible, and that thing will save your tail. We were down at about -5 Fahrenheit on the side of a mountain, and you didn't just have to get the fire going because it was a luxury. You had to get the fire going because if you were going to be outside of your 0-degree bag in your tent, you would have to have that to prevent hypothermia, because it's so cold that you can't lose your toes and your fingers over a backpacking trip. You gotta be smart. So always when you're in the woods, especially for overnight backcountry camping, prioritize fire. And don't just say, oh, I've got enough wood. Get as much wood as you can before the sun sets. Even if you've got a surplus, that's great, because the next people that camp at that backcountry campsite, they'll have some wood to start out with. But, you know, always go with more than enough and not enough. And then, you know, fire and then shelter. You know, you want to get that fire going first, because worst case scenario, you know, you can snuggle up somewhat close to it and stay warm. But you definitely want shelter, your tent, or your hammock with a rain fly, if you plan to sleep, you know, if it's going to start raining. So that's important. Now keep in mind, in bear country, like where I am, things are different, because you don't want to sleep right beside your campfire for two reasons. Number one, if you cooked anything over that campfire, you should never have any food scraps, because, you know, as that cools down during the night, bears can come and try to check out your food. So you don't want to have your tent right beside your fire. I go as far as, like, you know, this most recent leg, the Maury Ridge, slept, you know, it was around 20 degrees. It wasn't that cold, but it was still pretty cold. But, you know, I use the bear pulley systems that are a far distance from the tent. So ideally, I want to use a bear pulley system that's away from the fire and is also away from the tent. And obviously in your tent, all that you don't have anything that's smelly. You know, that includes chewing gum, chapstick, whatever. The only thing you want in your tent is an air horn or some sort of electronic noisemaker, bear spray outside of the door of your tent. You don't want to have it in your tent. You don't want to panic and spray it in there, because then you're going to spray yourself. And, you know, if you want to do like I do, you know, I always carry when I'm, you know, doing overnight camping, I always make sure I have an acceptable pistol, because that's always good to have. But, you know, and then a bottle of water. Water's fine in your tent. Just make sure it's not water that has like a lemon or any sort of fruit essence, because that can also attract bears. You know, if you just need basic bottled water without any sort of additives. And, you know, I think you're pretty safe with that. And, you know, as a rule of thumb, always sleep with at least one bottle of water closed in your sleeping bag. The reason is, when you're sleeping when it's below freezing, all that water's going to freeze. You wake up in the morning, you can be thirsty, and you're not going to have anything to drink unless you boil it. So keeping at least one bottle of water in the foot of your tent enables you to have something thawed and ready to drink during the night or in the morning. So, you know, just a few tips. Got to be prepared, man. You see so many people in the backcountry think it's the game. It's not. Now, you got to know what you're doing. I mean, it can be very dangerous, y'all. It really can. So you got to know what you're doing, and, you know, that comes with experience too. So I've been a backcountry guide for probably 15 plus years now. So easy to get out there and know what to do, what not to do. And, you know, it can be a lot of fun. It's great exercise, but again, it can be dangerous. And, you know, I'm going to do some videos on this, how to prepare. You know, one of the things where people fail is, one of the areas where people fail is they fail to plan. You know, when I pack, I create a running inventory of every item in my pack. And in that way, you know, I can compare it to previous trips where I know what I had to use. So I'm making sure I've got everything I need. And then also for that trip, I'm making sure that I know what's in the pack without having to rip it all out. So, you know, I'll say, like, orange dry bag contains this. Blue dry bag contains that. So it's down to a science. And if I've got that list, I can pull it out. I know everything I packed because I didn't add it to the list until it was in my pack. Likewise, I'm in the backcountry, I can quickly pull up my phone because I take a solar charger with me, and I can pull up that list and see where something is without having to just dig through everything. So yeah, just a few quick tips, man. I mean, you know, always be prepared in the backcountry. But yeah, I got a good little workout today, man. Yeah, not bad. Just an easy hike in the backcountry. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Stay tuned for more live shows soon, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube.com/IRichSky, and ring that bell icon when you do, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Y'all have a good day.